Hi everyone, this is Dr. Peter Khan. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Khan show. Today we're in episode 126. I'm so excited to be talking to you today. We're going to talk about why going gluten-free is not enough. Now, I just came back from a gluten-free expo or fest in Indianapolis this past weekend. Had a great time. Love you, Indianapolis. People are so friendly, and we just had a great response. People coming out to our presentations where I talked about autoimmune and thyroid. And a big question that obviously this is a gluten-free expo. A lot of people ask me, hey, I'm going gluten-free, but I'm still having problems. Why is that? So today I'm going to talk about why gluten-free is not enough, because I got this question all the time throughout the weekend. And I think a lot of you out there on Facebook and on social media may be looking for the same answer. So let's talk about that. Now, before we get started, I'm Dr. Khan. I'm a functional medicine practitioner. And our practice helps people with chronic health conditions like thyroid, autoimmune, chronic digestive issues, brain fog, fatigue, hair loss, difficulty losing weight, chronic neurological issues like numbness, tingling, chronic pain, and so forth. We help people just like you with those chronic conditions that have not been satisfied, medically speaking, not getting any answers from doctors, not getting the results that you're looking for. They tell you everything's normal, but you still don't feel normal, right? I experienced that in the comment section. If you've been told that all your lab tests is normal and you have symptoms, but they tell you you're fine, or we don't know what's wrong with you, I experienced that in the comment section, just so you see how many people are having this problem. Now, when you see a lot of people having this problem, you know that the system is broken. The medical system is broken, and that's why people are having issues that's not being resolved. Despite medical doctors, see, we're not bashing people here. Doctors are great. They're there trying to help. They're compassionate. They're smart people. But the system is broken, folks. So you got to step outside of the box. And that's why you're on this show watching this content. And that's why you're my people. That's why I want to talk to people who want to learn, who want to take charge of their health, and I want to help you. Now, these people that come to me already tried everything medically speaking, but they thought they did everything. They say, I tried everything. No, you haven't. You just tried all the medical stuff, and you're not getting any results. So they swing to the other side, try some type of natural alternative treatment, acupuncture, nutritionist, naturopath, taking supplements. Nothing's working still because no one's helping them to identify the root cause or even understand what's going on with them. And some supplements you take can frankly just cause problems for you. And so these people eventually find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel with over 500 videos. You can find me at Peter Khan DC or Dr. Peter Khan. Just search for the bald-headed Chinese guy, you'll find it. Or on Facebook, that's where we have videos and people find us. And I don't believe in accidents. You build it, they will come. I put out the content, people seek us out, people find the information. And so I want to give you value. I want to give you information that's going to help you. So let's talk about why going gluten-free is not enough. Understand that, number one, gluten sensitivity, it's not just a gluten problem. Gluten sensitivity is an immune system problem. So gluten, can't even write now. Gluten sensitivity is not a gastrointestinal problem, okay? It is not a digestion problem per se, okay? And it is not even a gluten problem per se. Gluten sensitivity is an immune system problem. That's what it really is. And until you get that straight, you're not going to be able to understand how to actually test it, how to actually fix it, how to actually overcome it. So understanding the immune system. How so? So here's your digestive tract. Cut cross-section. Here are all the cells that line your digestive tract, like this. If we magnify this section, we see the intestinal lining, like these, with cells. So these intestinal cells, there's a space here, and the space is held together by these proteins called occlutin. Occlutin are like laces on a football that hold the cells together. And you also have this basement membrane, which is like this muscular tissue that also form this barrier. So that's on the inside right here. Now what happens is, when you react to gluten, what's really happening is that the immune system is reacting to it, okay? So you have perhaps gluten molecules. So here's gluten. Gluten comes along, and gluten is known to bind to zonulin, these laces on the football, and actually damage it. And when these laces on the football becomes busted, the space between the cells becomes wider. Normally, that space called the tight junction is a very tight space that's sealed together. When you have damage to these occluded protein, then the space becomes just a little bit wider. Now, this is happening on a cellular level. You can't see it with an endoscopy. You can't see it with a colonoscopy. So you go to your medical practitioner who do endoscopy and they say, oh, I have all the tests done. Endoscopy, colonoscopy, all negative. So I don't have any problem there. That's not true because you can't detect the problem with that kind of test. So a lot of people think they had everything done and they just have certain things done and they think it's a lot because it is a lot to go through those medical tests and that tells you nothing a lot of the times. And you just had the wrong test because many of these tests are just incorrect. So when the gluten protein can start to leak out of this gap because the gap is opened up wider like this, then gluten can leak through. When they get through, not only is it damaged the lining, now your immune system, let's just say white blood cell immune system, will start to attack this protein, this undigested food protein, and that creates inflammation. Let's use red for inflammation. So inflammation then, these chemicals, inflammation, they're cytokines, which are immune messengers, can travel throughout the body, and if these inflammatory chemical gets through to your joint, it causes inflammation in the joint. You get arthritis or joint pain. If these inflammation chemical gets through to your muscle, you get muscle pain or get diagnosed with fibromyalgia or chronic pain. If these inflammation chemical get through to the brain, which it can cause brain inflammation, and what you get is brain fog, memory loss, can't concentrate, you get depression, anxiety, these type of issues. So even though leaky gut, this is process called leaky gut, see gluten causes leaky gut, and leaky gut causes inflammation. And even though the site of origin of leaky gut is in the intestine, but this inflammation chemical, once it leaks out, it's traveling throughout the body. So it's a systemic problem. So it started in the gut, but it traveled throughout the body. So you actually get inflammation everywhere. That's why you can have pain, you get achy, you get stiff, you get brain fog, you can't concentrate, you have energy issues. It can start to actually affect thyroid. Most people with thyroid problems have hashimotos, excuse me, which is an autoimmune condition where your immune system is attacking the thyroid. Most people with any kind of autoimmune, see this process, gluten triggering leaky gut, causing inflammation, is what leads to autoimmune. That's what leads to autoimmunity. It's one of the 3 prerequisites of having autoimmune is leaky gut. So but why is gluten-free not enough then? Because you have things called molecular mimicry, cross-reaction. I should say that. Cross-reaction. That means gluten, the structure of gluten, so let's just say here's a gluten protein sequence like this. Let's just say it has different sequences. The sequence of gluten can look very similar to rice, which is considered a gluten-free grain. So your immune system may see gluten and they see that, well, the rice looks kind of similar, maybe it's missing a few sequences different, like this, but it looks pretty close, so your immune system will attack the rice thinking it's gluten. So you go gluten-free, it's not enough because you're actually reacting to something that your body's mistaken. It's like a mistaken identity. Now that's just one thing. What are other things your body can cross-react to when you have gluten sensitivity? You can cross-react to corn. You can cross-react to quinoa, which is a gluten-free grain. It's actually a seed, but it's used a lot in gluten-free product. millet, which is also a gluten-free grain that's used a lot in gluten-free products. Dairy, it's not a gluten-free, it's not gluten, it's dairy, it's cow's milk product. Specifically casein is a protein found in gluten, it's a protein found in cow's milk that your body can react to if you have sensitivity to gluten. In fact, gluten and dairy goes really hand in hand together. So a lot of people with gluten sensitivity, you're better off cutting out gluten and dairy at the same time, at the very minimum, if not also these other things also. So that's why when I'm at the Gluten-Free Expo or Gluten-Free Fest, and there's all these vendors there, having samples of these gluten-free products, gluten-free crackers, gluten-free bread, gluten-free XYZ, they're all made with this stuff right here. And these people are eating it because they say, I have gluten sensitivity, or I have celiac disease, so I can't tolerate gluten. They know gluten is a problem for them, but they're eating these things that are also causing problem for them as well. And they don't know that because they think they're done cutting out gluten. They think cutting out gluten is enough. They're done with that. What else? What else do I have to cut out? They don't want to cut out anything else because they already cut out gluten and they found substitutes, but the substitutes are not working for them. So they're still having issues, and then they go to the doctor, they say, well, you're already gluten-free. So whatever problem you have, it's not because of gluten, it's not because of food, it's because something else. That's a mistake. Certainly, gluten-free is just one food that you can be sensitive to. You can be sensitive to any number of things. And remember, like I always say, besides food, what are some of these common triggers? The biggest thing is you must address the triggers because that's about the only thing you have control of, right? You can't control your genetics. You can't control your past history. It's already past. You can only control what you do now. You can't even control the future. You can just control present time consciousness. What can you do now? Be present. So that's what you do on a daily basis. So that's why food is such a big thing because most of us eat multiple times a day. So that's multiple times you can put something in your mouth that's either going to hurt you or help you. You decide. There's no such thing as it's not that bad. No, it's bad or it's good. There's no such thing as not that bad. You decide. Put good stuff in. So that's food. And remember, gluten-free is not enough. Maybe other food as well. The other trigger could be not food. What if you're eating perfect already? So many people come to me already on autoimmune paleo, they're on paleo diet, they're doing GAPS diet, any number of these so-called healthy diets, Whole30, whatever it is, they're doing that, they're still having problems. So that if you're doing a eating plan and you're eating really clean, organic, no grain, no gluten, then what is it then? So it's not the food. So a lot of times people say, I'm eating really healthy. I'm wondering if I'm reacting to something. What if you're not reacting to anything? You're eating perfect. What if it's not the diet? What if it's something like an infection of some type? Like parasites, like candida, like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, like viruses. What if it's one of those? And if you have a virus or parasite, does it matter how organic the food that you eat is? Does it matter how gluten-free you are? Is gluten-free going to necessarily get rid of parasite or SIBO, small intestinal bacteria, or candida just by eating really healthy? No, you need to do something. You need to first identify whether you have these infections. And sometimes they can be difficult to detect through a conventional medical test. That's why we do functional medicine tests or even bioresonance testing. But you need to first identify it so that you're not just randomly, well, I heard parasite could be a problem, so I'm going to do a parasite cleanse. Or maybe you don't even have parasites, so you're doing a parasite cleanse for nothing. So that's called wasting time, wasting money. And a lot of people are wasting their efforts on something that they shouldn't be doing because you're trying to self-diagnose, self-treat. Don't do that. Don't self-diagnose, self-treat. Just because you're using some natural supplement doesn't mean it's safe and doesn't mean it's good for you. You need to be specific, and that's where working with a professional can help. Okay? So infection. What if you're eating perfect and you still have problem? Could it be infection or could it be toxicity? What if it's a heavy metal toxicity? What is environmental toxicity? I was just at an environmental medicine conference earlier this year. Oh gosh, what month was it? It must be 5-6 months ago. This was in Scottsdale, one of the biggest environmental medicine conference there is. And most of the study there I already know, but it just reaffirms what I already know, which is environmental toxicity is a big deal. We know that there's this rise in diabetes and insulin resistance, much of that is contributed by phthalate, BPA, which is plastic. So BPA is a chemical found in plastic, and they're finding that increased use of phthalates, which is a plasticizer found in plastic, is coincides with a rise in diabetes, not sugar consumption. Sugar consumption has been increasing since World War II, but type 2 diabetes didn't start to jump up until about the 70s. But plastic use has jumped up way high. Around the same time, type 2 diabetes spiked up. So environmental toxicity has a huge effect on our body. So what if you're eating perfect and you're gluten-free and you still have problem? And maybe some toxicity issue. How would you know that? You have to test. Now, could you just do some detox and cut out some stuff? Yes, you should do that. You should cut out chemicals in your house that you think is problematic for you. But certainly, if you know what you're doing, if you know what specific chemicals, and furthermore, cutting out the chemical doesn't detox the chemical that's already in your system. So that's where we work with our client to identify and then to eliminate through our unique neurometabolic integration program, where we combine working with the nutritionist, combine detoxification, toxicology, and also work with neurology, because your brain influences metabolism, and the metabolism influences brain. Leaky gut and inflammation is going to infect brain, causing inflammation in the brain. Inflammation in the brain is going to come back and cause more inflammation in the gut because it's a gut-brain connection. So leaky gut causes leaky brain, inflammation in the gut causes inflammation in the brain, and brain inflammation causes more gut inflammation, becomes a vicious cycle. So you must break that cycle and find the trigger. And we do that in our very unique program where we guide you, we walk alongside you, we give you accountability, it's high touch. You're basically taken along on a ride to where we're controlling all the variables and your body has no chance but to go in the direction that we want. And that's how we help our clients. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. And if you like more help, again, I have tons of free stuff for you. YouTube channel, you can watch over 500 videos, different topics, always something new every week. Facebook, free videos for you. Please like and share my page, the channel, and share the content with people, because people need to hear this stuff. And I don't feel like people are explaining it correctly, and I don't feel like people are hearing this on a consistent level and it's connecting all the dots for you. So please help me share the content. And if you need more help than that, you just feel like, you know what, I've been having symptoms for a long time. I just need to quit messing around with this. My health is being destroyed and I'm not getting any better or any younger. I wasted enough time and money. It's time for me to get this right, so I can start enjoying my life and make a dent in the universe and go out and do what God put me here to do. If you want that, you need help, reach out to us. Private messages on Facebook. You can call us at 480-988-6269. If you call, please leave a message. We're always busy, always on the phone with someone. So you got to leave a message so we can call you back. Or you can email info@askdrkhan.com to schedule a case review so we can sit down. We do it by video conference, so it doesn't matter where you are in the United States. I can help you. So you don't have to be in Arizona, which is where I am now. And that's why I went to Indianapolis. We're going to be in Portland in a couple of months. We're going to be all over the United States. We can help you no matter where you are through video teleconference. I can order lab tests where you are. So this can be done. You can have access to someone, an expert, someone who cares, someone who's going to walk you through it. Okay, so reach out if you need help. And I will see you next week at the Ask Dr. Khan Show. Take care.